Sometimes while solving these numericals, we need the relations between phase difference to path difference for two ways. Okay, while solving the numericals also in the middle, I think we get okay in the given assignment. Generally, the equation y is a function of already I told you x minus vt. Okay. Uh, there, suppose if we write in our trigonometric form a like the sine or cos, sine kx minus omega t plus or minus phi. Even here also this is plus or minus phi, depending upon traveling along positive x-axis or negative x-axis. Okay. Here, sometimes they ask the relation between phase difference and path difference. Means already I told this whole thing is called as phase angle. Previously we discussed this point. Phase angle, my representation is theta. Theta is equals to kx plus or minus omega t plus or minus phi. General. Okay. Here, suppose if they ask the phase difference between 2 points in the wave, means in the wave, suppose this is 1 point selected at a distance of say some x1, this is the point, and some other point somewhere here selected. It is the point P, which is selected at a distance of x2 from here. Okay. Between these two, by giving x2 and x1, if you take x2 minus x1, that will give path difference between the two. Means it is the path length along x-axis. And from here to there till here, it is the path length of the second particle. Okay, this whole length is given as x2 and this part of length is given as x1. So if you take the difference, this part gives for us the path difference between the two, which is x2 minus x1. We represent with delta x or dx. That is your choice. Okay. If you know the path difference between the two, what will be the phase difference? Means phase angle difference between the two will be. Okay. Means merely he is asking the relation between the phase angle and the relation between phase angle and x now. So if I differentiate this term, okay, partially, like dou theta is equals to, I have to write k into dou x. Rest of the things constant in the partial differentiation. This one we write it as delta theta is equals to k into delta x. Okay. So this delta theta we call it as phase difference. Okay, which is like some theta 2 minus theta 1. Okay, difference in the phase angle. Difference in the phase angle called as phase difference. Okay, in textbooks it may be represented like delta phi E1, whatever may be the representation, but it is the phase difference. Okay, so delta theta or delta phi, whatever it may be that phase difference, the representation is equals to k into delta x. What basically we write. Okay. Instead of k, if you know lambda, we know the relation delta theta or delta phi is equals to, we write k, we know the equation 2 pi by lambda, k is 2 pi by lambda into delta x. This is relation. Okay. Sometimes we require while solving the problems. Okay. I think it is required to solve the even while solving in the remaining problems. I think we are going to use this equation, right? And in the same way, if they ask what will be the relation between the phase difference and time difference, phase difference and time difference means I have to differentiate theta with respect to time. With respect to time means if you take the partial differentiation, dou theta by dou t, okay, is equals to, this is constant, that is also constant, either plus or minus some omega into 1 that we get. So here dou theta is equals to what I'm getting, omega into dou t. Okay, either plus or minus depending upon the question. So here this one can be written as delta theta is equals to omega into delta t. Okay, it is the relation between the phase difference delta theta or delta phi with time. Omega you can write it as 2 pi by t even. That is your relation. 2 pi by t, or I know the omega sir. Directly you can use omega into delta t, or I know the frequency sir. Omega is equals to 2 pi mu. Relation between omega and frequency into delta. Anything you can write. So this is the relation between the phase difference and time difference. Means in the same way, suppose they give these are the 2 points A and B. Okay, they will come in the wave after a time of some t1 here. From the origin, after a time of t2, the second point will come. Means indirectly delta t is equals to t2 minus t1. Then means I know delta t. Then how to find the phase difference? Okay, this type of model we use. Okay, in that suppose the wave is traveling given as with a constant velocity v, and here to there the length is given as say some 2 meters. Okay, and velocity is given as say some 20 meters per second. Okay, and t1 is given as 1 second and t2 is given as say some 4 seconds. Suppose if they ask, find out what is the phase difference. Simple, from this question, phase difference is equals to out of these three any one into delta t. Delta t is equals to, I am getting how much? 4 minus 1, that is 3 seconds. Okay. And here v is known and it is actually length of one full wave. Length of one full wave is actually called as wavelength lambda, that is whatever he gave. So lambda is known and velocity of the wave is known. From these two, if I am able to find out the frequency, I can use the third equation. So using the formula v is equals to mu lambda, if you see here, v is 20, mu is unknown, lambda is how much here? 2. Okay, mu into 2. Then mu is equals to, you are getting how much, Nana? 10 hertz. Okay, then you can use this equation delta phi is equals to 2 pi mu is 10 into delta t is, from this equation you can find what is the phase difference between. Okay, this is one more model. Here, while solving the numericals, they are required, Nana, the relation between phase difference and path difference, phase difference and time difference. Okay, these are two models. From this question, if you want the equation of the wave, I think you know, equation of wave generally we write y is equals to a sine kx, since it is traveling along positive x-axis. Okay, kx minus omega t or omega t minus kx. Since it is not started from origin, we have some plus or minus phi. That to here, if I extend it backwards, okay, wave, like sine wave, it is actually above the positive x-axis. Above the positive x-axis, already I told it is plus phi, not minus phi. So it is plus phi. And in that form, we have to write Nana. Okay, here I think few things you can say. A, you can say, what will be the amplitude here, Nana?
4 into 10 power minus 3, sir.
4 into 10 power. Suppose if I ask this is right in centimeters.
In 0.4, sir.
Right, good. So amplitude is 0.4. It is correct. Next we have to write kx minus omega t plus phi. These things we have to fill. K directly not there. So can we use the equation k is equals to 2 pi by lambda?
Yes, sir.
In that, are you getting any idea to find out the wavelength?
Sir, lambda means the total wavelength, no, sir.
Not total wavelength. Length of
0 plus 1.5 plus 3.5 plus 5.5 plus 7.5, sir.
no. One wave. One wave means since it is not started from
0 to 3.5, sir.
not even. Why? That's what I'm telling. It is not started from origin. It is started from some other point. One wave.
Okay, sir.
It should be started from x-axis, means from origin. Likewise, if you see from here or from there, that is your wish. Suppose if you see from here, one upward part plus one downward part. This whole thing is
3.5 to 7.5. One wave.
this is the wavelength. Okay, 3.5 to 7.5 means how much it is? 7.5 minus 6.5, 4.
4, sir.
Right. So you are getting k is equals to 2 pi by lambda
Pi
is
by 2.
k is pi by. So kx I write here pi by 2 minus omega t. Omega we don't know. Why? Because lambda we got from this equation as 4 centimeters. From here to there, this is even in centimeters. So if you are able to find out the velocity of wave, then you can find out the frequency according to the relation v is equals to mu lambda. If you are able to know the velocity of wave, is it velocity of wave?
No, sir. It's particle velocity, sir.
It is the velocity of particle. And at that point, you observe here, he gave the slope also. Then yesterday, I don't know whether you remembered or not, one relation between velocity of particle, velocity of wave, and slope. Okay, I will tell. Velocity of particle is equals to minus v into dou y by dou x. Yesterday only we derived this equation. Vp is equals
Yes, sir.
right, minus v into dou y by dou x. So here Vp he gave it as 20 root 3 minus v into dou y by dou x means slope. Slope is tan theta. Tan 60 is
Tan 60.
root 3 get cancelled. So you are getting magnitude of velocity is equals to 20. Okay.
20.
Right. So velocity is 20 centimeters. Why? Because this is given as centimeters per second. This is also in centimeters per second. V is equals to mu into lambda is 4 centimeters. Lambda is 4 means you will get 4 5s. Mu is
5, sir.
5. Then I think you can find omega. Omega is equals to our formula 2 pi mu. 2 pi by t. 1 by t is mu. 2 pi. Means I think you are getting mu is 5. 5 into 2, 10 pi.
10 pi.
Yeah. So omega I am getting here 10 pi. So second part is also filled there. And then you require what? Phi. Are you getting any idea to find out phi? Okay.
K into delta x, sir.
That is phase difference, but it is initial phase. Initial phase means yesterday I told, if you know the initial displacement before starting at x is equals to 0, t is equals to 0. Simple. In this equation, put x is equals to 0, t is equals to 0.
X equals 0, t equals to 0.
Then you will get y is equals to a sine. This
A
equation.
sin phi.
This equation yesterday. Y initial is equals to a sine. Okay. At x is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. Look at what is the y value here he gave? 2 root 2. So
Root 2.
2 root 2 is equals to amplitude 4 into sine phi. You will get sine phi is equals to 1 by root 2. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So here sine phi is
Phi equal to 45.
right. Then phi is equals to you are getting 45 degrees, either pi by 4. Since it is sine function, you will get two positive values now in first quadrant and as well as in second quadrant. Okay. So either 45 degrees or 135 degrees, 90 plus 45. That is 3 pi by 4. Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. Sine 135 is also plus 1 by root 2. Okay. So you can substitute
Yes, sir.
either pi by 4 or 3 pi by 4. But we have to substitute not 3 pi by 4 now. Why? Because in the wave, okay, till here it is
Theta is negative. Theta is
uh,
negative in this quadrant, sir.
not negative now. 3 pi by 4 is less 135, less than 180. Less than 180 means this is 0, this is
Positive side, sir.
this is 180. More than 90, less than 180 means actually it should start from here. Means if the wave starts from here by taking the origin like this, means y-axis here, then we can say initial phase is equals to here, initial displacement is 2 root 2. Means what I am saying, at this 2 root 2, you are getting two phase angles now. One is less than 90, other is more than 90. Now you see, is it started from some P dash or P or A?
It's started from P, sir.
That's why it is less than 90. Less than 90 means I have to write pi by 4, not 3 by 4.
Okay, sir.
Understood? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
the equation. This one also given in one exam previously. So understood how to use all the combinations, Nana?
Yes, sir.
Here you see we used many combinations. Initial displacement, initial phase relation, velocity of particle, velocity of wave, displacement relation. Here omega is equal to 2 pi nu, v is equals to nu lambda, k is equals to 2 pi by lambda. Many things we used here. Okay, right one.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Error session, sir.
Huh?
Error session, sir. I think.
Okay. This chapter already I told it is completely related to mechanical waves. Okay, not electromagnetic waves. These mechanical waves means the wave is nothing but disturbance, propagation of energy. Okay, while propagating the energy through a medium, we have to take medium now. Why? Because mechanical waves require material medium. Already we discussed this point. Okay, required a material medium. So in the medium, when a mechanical wave is propagating like towards some positive x-axis, means energy is propagating in this direction. The things which are cooperating are actually the medium particles now. Okay, while propagating, those medium particles are in vibratory motion. Okay, while vibrating, if suppose the particles of the medium while propagating, like in the string, when it is vibrated up and down and one wave is produced and propagating like this, means there the medium particles are vibrating up and down like this, but the wave is propagated along x-axis. Such a type of wave is a transverse wave for us now. Okay, transverse wave means for the propagation of the wave, if the medium particles vibrate up and down like this, this is called as transverse wave. Okay, in this transverse wave, medium particles are vibrating up and down means here they are while vibrating. If you see, once the particle goes up, again it should come back to its original position, and again it should go down, and again it should come back. This is one vibration. Means while going up, one particle of the medium, the other particles are able to pull it down. Then only the wave again means the medium particle tries to come down and tries to vibrate. Means there should be some force of attraction between the molecules of the string while vibrating. There should be some force of attraction. Okay, that force of attraction will be strong in solids. Okay, if the force of attraction is strong, one particle suppose goes up and unable to come back, then the wave cannot be propagated in the medium. That's why here the force of attraction between the molecules should be strong. It is possible only in solids. That's why if they ask in objective, the transverse waves, the two mechanical transverse waves, are propagated in which medium? Okay, if they ask, strictly we say they are propagated through only solids. We say. Okay, reason if suppose like a statement type of question, transverse waves are propagated through solids only. Statement 1, yes, statement 1 is true. Statement 2, if they give the reason like, okay, in the solids, the force of attraction between the molecules is strong, then here we have to say statement 1 is correct. Transverse waves are formed in solids. And number 2, in the solids, the force of attraction is strong too. And we can say the statement 2 is the correct explanation to the statement 1. Why? Because since the force of attraction between the molecules is strong, hence the transverse waves are formed in solids. Okay. If anyone asks you these transverse waves are produced in liquids and gases, okay, we can say they are not formed in liquids and gases. Okay, I think no need to say the reason. Why? Because in liquids and gases, the force of attraction between the molecules will be less. Okay, but there is a little bit of phenomena here. What is that? Formed in solids, but in liquids, due to the property of surface tension, what happens? The force of attraction between the molecules at the surface will be strong due to the property of surface tension. So here what they say, at the surface, since the force of not inside the liquid, at the surface, the force of attraction is strong, then the transverse waves you can produce not inside, at the surface. Those waves only we see in the oceans, like seas, the sea waves, okay, at the river also, while touching the bank or the shore. There we can see the wave propagating at the surface like this, sea waves. Okay, these waves won't be formed inside the water. It is possible only at the surface. That's why you can say that transverse waves are formed in solids and at the surface of liquid, at the surface, due to the surface tension. Okay. This is the story about transverse wave. Okay, briefly. Here in this transverse wave, when medium particles are vibrating, if you observe the sinusoidal wave, sine wave here, like if you take not other types of waves like this, sawtooth or triangular waves like this. Okay. Suppose if you take sinusoidal waves, there the upper part, whatever you are taking, is called as crest now. And the lower part, whatever you are taking, is called as, yeah, I think you know it, crest and troughs. Okay. So here in one wave means this is one wave, total 2 pi radians. One crest plus one trough is equals to one wave. This is equal to length of one wave. In the previous problem also we used. Okay, when it is started from horizon, right? Or you can say here already I named it as the upper part as crest, the lower part as trough. So from horizon till here you can say it is lambda by 2 now. Okay, and from here to the crest you can say again in this it is half,
lambda by 4.
Yeah, lambda by 4. So if they ask crest to crest means next successive crest, trough to next successive trough, if they ask what will be the length,
Lambda, sir.
Exactly lambda. Very good. This is also lambda.
Lambda.
All right. So crest to crest or trough to trough or the length of one wave is equal to wavelength lambda. Okay, good.
సార్ ఒక డౌట్ సార్.
Yes.
సార్ ఇంతకుముందు క్వశ్చన్ లో మనము ఈ పక్క వేవ్ తీసుకున్నాము కదా.
And then here, if we come back, this is the brief story about the wavelength, Nana. And that transverse wave, while propagating, clearly we mentioned those transverse waves are formed only in solids. Okay, exceptional case, so at the surface of liquids. Okay. Through a solid, while propagating, what are the major things required for the propagation? First thing we say, suppose this is one solid, like a string. Okay. And here the mass is uniformly distributed. Mass is uniformly distributed means suppose the mass of string is m and the length of the string is suppose L, then mass per unit length is actually called as linear mass density. Okay, this can be represented either with the letter lambda or in textbooks they use the letter mu. Okay, so better we go with the textbook representation. Mu is equals to m by m, total mass per total length. It is called as linear mass density. Okay, and then here you are producing one transverse wave in the string like this. Okay, while propagating, first for the propagation, what I told fundamentally here, if one particle goes up, the remaining particles try to pull this one down. Then only while going up, it will come down and again it will go up. Means there should be some force of attraction. That internal force of attraction between the molecules develops some tension in the string. Okay. Tension is the internal force between the molecules. Okay. Suppose in the string, anywhere the tension, okay, is T, right? Means you have to understand that if there is no tension in the string, there is no creation of transverse wave. What I am saying indirectly. Okay. So here to obey the fundamental condition to pull that molecule which is trying to go up, okay, we require some internal force between them. So we require some tension. So the hero of this transverse wave is the tension. Okay, tension is must to create the transverse wave. Okay, so while propagating, suppose with some velocity here, whether it is constant or variable, whatever it may be. Okay, that velocity, how to interrelate with these known things. Okay, if you ask, look at it is crystal clear. Now we are discussing about in the mechanical waves. First way I told there are two types of waves. One is longitudinal waves, other is a transverse waves. Okay, first we are coming to transverse wave. Later we will discuss about the longitudinal waves. Okay, now it is what type of wave? Clearly we know it is a transverse wave. Okay, till now without giving the transverse or longitudinal, we discussed the models. Okay, just with the equation, representation of wave. Now we are going little bit deep into that wave while representing which type of wave, whether it is transverse or longitudinal. First we are coming to transverse. Okay, so here I am going to say what will be the velocity of transverse wave. Okay, you may say, sir, already I know, sir, velocity of wave equation is equals to nu lambda. Then why should I derive? Okay, V is equals to nu lambda means you can apply that wave equation, V is equals to nu lambda for any type of wave, whether it is mechanical wave or electromagnetic wave or some other wave. Okay, whether it is a transverse again in mechanical wave, whether it is transverse or longitudinal, you can apply that equation. But I am asking what will be the velocity of transverse wave, particularly interrelating with T and mu. Okay, so that is correct only, but I want V in terms of T and mu. So to find out that velocity here, just while propagating at this point, okay, that part, just take, zoom that picture, it will be appear like this while zooming that picture. Okay, so this part only, this small part is taken here. This is not a big part now, that small part. Okay, of small length. length of this part, take it as small length, some d. So anywhere here, whatever may be the shape, okay, small part is appear like a part of circle. Part of circle means it is just a curve. Anywhere here it is a curve, small curve. So it will be appeared, whatever you took here, it will be appeared as a part of that small circle. So already I am taking the zoom picture here. Okay. Here after zooming the picture, it will be appeared like one big one like this. Okay. Here the wave is propagating with a velocity v. This is the velocity of wave. Okay, towards right. Then I am saying here that at that small part, while propagating, the particles in the medium, when it tries to go up, tries to pull that one downwards by the other particles like this. That one we call it as tension in the string. So better I erase this part. Okay. Here at one end, the tangent. At the other end, it is also a tangent. I am taking. And since it is a small part, both sides I take the tension same. Okay. So if you see in this circular part, here it has some velocity v, means by virtue of velocity, it will possess some centrifugal force away from the center. Means entering into some circular motion. Away from the center, centrifugal force. Do you remember any formula for it, Nana? Okay.
No, sir.
Right, no problem. We have in first year circular motion. There, the centrifugal force is equals to, we have to formulate like mv square by r, m r omega square, or mv omega. We have three formulae in our first year. Centrifugal. Suppose interlating with velocity, if I use that centrifugal force is mv square by r, mass of this part, some small mass dm. Okay. Then the centrifugal force on this small part is dm into v square by r. Here it is a part of circle, means we have to prove that that centrifugal force must be balanced by centripetal force. Centripetal means towards the center we have to show some force. That if you see here, it is a tangent. Okay. Then suppose if I take one horizontal line here, look at the end, this end towards the center. Okay. Here it is of course radius. With the vertical line, if it makes an angle theta, then here the angle made with the horizontal is also theta. I think you know that concept. Sir, that is a small part, better you take it as d theta, sir. Okay, as you wish, take it as d theta. So try to resolve that t into two components. Why? Because it is neither along x-axis nor along y-axis. So I am going to resolve. So here this is like a t cos d theta. Other component you will get like this downwards, t sine d theta. Okay. In the same way, if you take on the other side, okay, here also it is making exactly vertical line, d theta, same angle. So if you resolve again here, you will get it is t cos d theta, and the other component, this is t sine d theta. Okay, if you see there. At the two ends of the string, look at t cos d theta, t cos theta, they are in opposite direction. So get cancelled. Net force along x-axis. But net force along y-axis. Y-axis means on the small part towards the center. Small part. Along y-axis, if you see, downwards you are getting two forces, like centripetal forces, which are 2t sine d theta you are getting, is equals to here the centrifugal force, which is dm into v square by r. If you assume it as a circle, anywhere it should be balanced by the centrifugal. That is a condition for circle. Centripetal force should be equals to centrifugal force. Okay, and here I assume small element. That's why that small element which makes an angle of d theta plus d theta, total 2d theta. It is small angle, Nana. Small angle means sine theta can be written as theta. So I write here 2t into sine theta, which is d theta, can be written as d theta. Okay. So is equals to, I'm getting dm into v square by r. Okay. So whatever I told here, mu is equals to m by l. In differential form, we write as mu is equals to dm by dl. Okay. The same equation. So dm, I can write it as mu into dl now. So here if I write mu into dl into v square by r, replacing dm with mu into dl, here this is 2t d theta. Better you take 2 into t into 2 theta, right? Okay. Why? Because here look at, it is appear like a sector now. In the sector principle is equals to, sector principle is length of arc is equals to r into the angle of sector. I think you know that sector principle L is equals to r theta in mathematics. Okay. So according to this sector principle, length of this part, okay, I already took it as dl. So length of that part dl is equals to r. The radius is, better you take it as r. Why? Because already I substituted it as r, capital R. So r into theta. Theta is the angle of sector. Angle of sector, is it d theta or 2d theta? Nana?
D theta.
Angle of sector.
2D theta, sir.
Right, 2d theta. Total sector. Total sector angle is 2d theta. So,
Sir,
uh,
sine v square by r, sir.
here, okay. V square by r. Right, correct. Then if I come back to this equation, I write t into 2d theta equals to mu into dl. I replace with r into 2d theta. Okay, mu into dl into v square by r. Okay, look at here, Nana. 2d theta cancel, r cancel. T by mu is equals to, you are getting v square, Nana. Therefore, v, I asked what will be the velocity of the wave. That I am getting root of t by. Okay. If the transverse wave is traveling with a constant velocity in the solid here, okay, then no problem. Constant velocity means anywhere the velocity of transverse wave at here or there or there or here or there. At, I can write it as root of t by. Okay. But if v is not constant, then we can't substitute at all points v is equals to t by mu. So there we have to understand that at one particular point, that instantaneous velocity of transverse wave is equals to the tension at that point divided by mu at that point. Okay. So tension mu both are constant throughout the string, sir. Means in the total string T is say some 100 newtons, sir. And here mu, point to point, it is not changing, sir. At any point, the mass per unit length, mu is constant. Say some, for example, given as some 20, okay, some 50 kg per meter, sir, given. Then velocity of transverse wave, you can say straight
root 2.
V is equals to root meters per second. At any point, here or there, at any point, not velocity of particle, no, velocity of wave, velocity of transverse wave is equals to root 2 meters per second, you can say. Okay. So here we can understand that that velocity of transverse wave will be changed if the tension at point 2 means the tension at a point that is changing from point to point, or the mu is changing from point to point, or the ratio is changing from point to point. Okay. Then you may ask, sir, is it possible? Okay. Then I am taking one condition here. Suppose I am taking, this is one support, like a roof or ceiling. From there, of course, from a book, I am suspending one string like this. Okay, of course, it is vertical one. In gravity region, means there the gravity acts on that. Okay, and its mass is m and its length is m. But the distribution of mass is uniform. Distribution of mass is uniform means mu is equals to here constant m by l. Okay. Now I am asking what will be the velocity of the wave when it is started from here. Okay. From here where wave is started and while propagating here like a transverse wave is propagating at a distance x from the lower point. What will be the velocity? Okay, and here if that velocity is not constant, suppose while solving you found velocity is not constant, then velocity is changing. While changing, it goes up, okay, with acceleration or deceleration, a or minus a, that you have to say. If it is accelerating, then what will be that acceleration? Okay, a is equals to how much? And that acceleration again constant or variable. Okay, many questions here there related to only one topic. Okay, many questions are there. So one by one, if we see, suppose if it is the transverse wave generated in the string, here again I am taking the picture clearly. Okay, it is of length L, it is generated here. Okay, at any point, in the string, at any point, if you take, at any point, the instantaneous velocity is equals to root of t by t. So suppose if I take one point here, below that point, any mass is there, Nana?
No, sir.
That's why here the pulling mass is equals means like weight. Mg equals to 0 at this point A. Okay. Weight equals to 0 means there is no tension there at that point. Okay. Tension will be created by weight only, Nana. Why? Because it is suspended.
Velocity equal to 0, sir, then.
Then here at the point A, the velocity is equals to 0. You can say in your notation, the initial
Velocity of wave. Oh,
yeah, initial velocity of the wave is equals to 0 at A. Okay. Now I am asking the velocity at a point B here, which is at a distance x. At a point B means I think below that point there is some mass. Am I right?
sir.
A mass means I am not loading anything here, but the mass of this part of the string will try to pull this point down or not.
Yes, sir. Some mass dm, sir. Some.
Yeah, that dm will be there. Dm is the mass of A to B of length x.
A to B. Yes, sir.
Then at that point, there is some weight. Obviously, there will be some tension. If tension is there, the velocity is not equal to 0. Okay. For that, what he told, at a point here, suppose the tension, if you ask, the tension is equals to mass of this part, what you told, dm into g. Okay. What I told here, Nana, mu is constant. Mu is actually what? Dm by dl or total mass by total length. Okay. So dm by dl is equals to constant, which is mu. So why don't I write dm is equals to mu into dl, Nana? Then here I substitute dm in place of dm. I write this is the mass of AB. That is mu into dl. dl is length of AB into g. Do you know the length of AB, Nana?
Lambda, sir.
Length, Nana, A to B, length.
X, sir. X, sir.
Right. So I can write from this equation tension is equals to mu into length of AB is x into G. This is the tension. You want velocity. Velocity is under root of T by mu. So you can straight away you can find out here the T by mu value which is equals to xg. Therefore, you can write V is equals to root of T by mu which is root of xg. This is the velocity. So look at here, initial velocity is 0. At this point, at a distance x, the velocity is, you observed, as a function of x number, x into g. Okay, where g is constant number. So you can write there v is directly proportional to root x. Means x changes, velocity also changes. And from bottom, if x gradually, if you go up, x increases, velocity also increases. So in this first question, what can you say? Velocity is increasing with x. You are measuring the x from A by putting x is equal to 0 here. That's why you told VA equals to 0 there. So from here, x value is increasing up to the end, means total length is suppose L. Here x should be equals to L. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So x is increasing. X is increasing means velocity should be increased.
Increasing.
Means there the acceleration is that is whether it is accelerating or decelerating.
Accelerating, sir.
That's why it is not decelerating. First question is over. So it is accelerating. Okay. While accelerating, second question, how much is that acceleration? Oh, it's so here. Second question, what is that acceleration? Acceleration means v is equals to, I got root of gx at an instant. Generally, acceleration we can write it as dv by dt. With respect to time, we differentiate. So if you differentiate this one, you will get root of gx means your root g taken out, Nana. Okay, it is a constant. So d by dt of root x we have to write.
1 by 2 into square root of g by x, sir.
Okay. Root g into, you are saying, right. 1 by 2 root x into, I think you have to write something.
Dx by dt.
Right. Dx by dt. Again, dx by dt is the velocity, Nana. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So again, we have to substitute dx by dt is the velocity. That velocity, which is root of gx.
Half g, sir.
Yeah. So root x, very good. Root x cancel, you are getting half g. That is g by 2. It is the acceleration. Okay. And that too, you already told it is acceleration, not deceleration. So plus g by 2. Where g is a constant. So g by 2 means exactly you are taking, that is 5 meters per second if you take g10, or 4.9 meters per second if you take g 9.8. Okay. This is a constant or variable, Nana?
Constant, sir.
So it is constant, not a variable. So all questions are completed. Okay. So final form, it is moving with non-uniform velocity. Velocity changes. How it changes? Increases. While increasing, it is accelerated, not decelerated. Is that accelerated? How much is that acceleration? G by 2. Is it constant or variable? It is constant.
It's constant.
Okay. So we completed all these points, Nana, today.